Welcome to the new season, Volume 2 of Crown Level Confidence Podcast. I'm Kalia Janae, your dedicated host. I'm a wife, mom, entrepreneur, certified life coach, and motivational speaker. I've got a background in humanities, communication, and I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. This podcast is your go-to source for empowerment and to inspire your journey toward unshakable confidence and fortified self-belief. In this volume, I'm bringing you fresh conversations and uplifting stories from incredible individuals who have overcome many obstacles in their lives and still achieved greatness. Get ready to elevate your mindset, embrace your power, and shine like the star you are. Let's embark on this journey together and straighten up your crown. Let's jump right in. Hey, y'all. Welcome to this newest episode of Crown Level Confidence, where we are helping women worldwide to lower their stress and raise their levels of confidence. Y'all, I'm so excited. Okay. Every episode I'm bringing to you a new amazing woman, a new connection I've made, sometimes old connections too, but it's always a new conversation. And today is going to be nothing short of that. Y'all, I have had the privilege of briefly getting to know, but looking forward to getting to know even further, Royce Morales. Royce, say hey.
Hi, thank you so much.
Yes. So we connected virtually, and this is only just the beginning. So y'all, I'm going to be getting to know Royce as you are, but let me tell you, I got a head start. So let me tell you a little bit more about her before we jump into our juicy conversation. Okay. So Royce Morales is a renowned spiritual trailblazer who has been teaching her innovative approach to inner transformation known as Perfect Life Awakening for over 4 decades. Her Inner Awakening courses and private inner journey clearing sessions neutralize subconscious, disempowering, and limited program beliefs by releasing where they originated. Negative patterns and self-sabotage resolve, so paralyzing issues lose their impact and life can shift. This profound work allows participants to reset their life, transforming from triggered to empowered. Her unique teachings provide experiential inner tools for daily life to help live an authentic, meaningful, purpose-filled existence. They encourage taking trusting, empowered action by learning to listen to higher consciousness, intuitive guidance. Her work brings spirituality down to earth, helping students live from love and gratitude rather than reactive fear. Royce also provides individual inner discovery sessions to facilitate deeper work, utilizing her proprietary spiritual clearing technique, spiritual cognition, integration education. Y'all, wow. I told you she was amazing. I had to get myself together. Royce, welcome. Thank you for being here in the Crown Level Confidence.
I really sound amazing. Thank you.
Absolutely. So now that you're here, and we don't really have the time to unpack 4 decades worth of experience and growth, but tell us, as best you can, how did you come to start your Perfect Life Awakening program? How did that happen?
It's a great story. I'm still blown away every time I tell it. I've been a spiritual seeker my entire life. I used to ask my mother questions that she couldn't answer, like, what is it all about? What's the meaning of life? What happens when we die? All that stuff. And she would just kind of roll her eyes and make up things. And I'd go, that doesn't sound right. So I went on a spiritual quest all the time. And I started taking all kinds of courses and inner self-development classes, and you name it, I did it. And I was taking a course that was supposed to teach people how to become a channeler. And I was involved in it for 3 years, and I was one of their star pupils, and all of this stuff was going on. And the teacher asked me if I could substitute for her 1 week for a class. And I said, okay, fine. So I got there. I had no idea what I was doing. I just kind of let everybody talk and share and get to know each other. And afterwards, one of the students came up to me and said, Royce, you seem to know a lot of stuff. Would you consider teaching me? And I just thought she was out of her mind. I thought she was crazy. But out of my mouth came, sure, I'd love to, bring your friends. And 10 people arrived in my living room. I had no idea what I was talking about, but I started just kind of going with the flow and letting things come out. And I realized that I was attuned to something that was much smarter than me, and all the words came out, and it was profound. And when people would leave, I'd write down all the stuff that I said, and then going, wow, that was great.
Right?
That's how it started.
That's amazing. So,
Yeah.
okay, what I'm hearing is, and maybe y'all heard it too, those of you who are listening, first of all, you need to be willing to go to the next level, right? You came in, you were a student, right? Lifelong student, seeking, asking, and here you are now having the opportunity to share, right? Your insights, your education, and your views on everything you learned so far, but you had to be available, right? Like that takes a good amount of confidence, whether or not you recognize it in the moment, right? Because I'm sure, like you said, part of you was like, me? What? But you still leaned in, right? So for someone who, is being given an opportunity, right? Or even just to prepare someone to one day be given an opportunity, how can you encourage someone to say, hey, you can take that next step. You can level up, even if maybe you weren't expecting to.
Yeah. There's a great quote that I always think about. It's called "Leap and the net will appear." And that's pretty much what I did. I just said, you know what? There are people in my living room now. This must be for a reason. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to trust. And I found that the more I could trust, the more information would flow through me, and the more confident I got. And I know this is all about confidence, but it really was opening to the part of me that knew and the part of me that could allow things to flow. So that's really, that quote just says it all. Just leap and the net will appear. And it does. It really does.
Wow, that's it. I've known Royce a very short amount of time, yeah, and she's already taught me some amazing things. Okay, so to give us some more insight into what you do and how you do it. Not now, you have to keep some things because we're going to be getting everyone connected with you. But tell us as much as you can. What is the spiritually based inner work you do, and how does it work?
Well, it's not like anything that you've probably heard of because it's very different. It's not about sitting around stating affirmations or positive thinking or vision boards or any of that stuff. It's really about, I give people tools to get in touch with what's really going on and to locate the origins of buttons and triggers and fears and self-sabotage and doubt, all of that stuff that many of us are just living in. And with these tools, people are able to neutralize all of that negativity and really transform their life. A lot of it is informational, but then a lot of it is experiential. We do what I call processing, where I allow people, I lead people to get in touch with some of the things that they've forgotten about or they're in denial about. Again, locating where these triggers really come from, not from, oh, when mom and dad got divorced, it was hard, but times that are specific, like when dad walked out the door and slammed it and said, women are horrible, what happened from that particular event. And that's what programs us. And that's what starts to eat at our aliveness and starts to take away our confidence and our trust and our deservingness. And I talk a lot about deservingness because that's the key. That is the bottom line reason that we're not successful or that we're not happy or that we're not in a relationship that feels right or whatever it is that's going on in our life. It all boils down to believing that we don't deserve. And I help people get in touch with the specific reasons that happens and neutralize them, get rid of them.
Wow. So it sounds like you're helping facilitate some very strong breakthroughs.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Definitely. It's life-changing. It really is. I get blown away just by watching what happens for people. And it moves me to tears, actually, because it's just so profound to see what happens. People that are stuck, people that are hopeless, people that are addictive, people that are, just not being who they are authentically are able to shift that and make huge changes in their life just by resolving and neutralizing those incidents. It's amazing. It really is.
Wow. Okay. So they do the work, right? They get with you, right? We're we're working on ourselves, we're unpacking these things, getting to the origins of the, not just the surface level, but the deep inner work. So kind of let us know or bring us into what happens, right, from discovering and neutralizing the origins of self-sabotage and limiting beliefs. Like, that's a lot in and of itself. So, but where do we go from there?
Where do they go from there? They're able to take action from a more deserving place. They're able to know what direction to go. They're able to tap into what their real purpose is in life, because we all arrive here with a very specific purpose that we've chosen. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us just suppress that or deny that or think, oh no, I've got to be a doctor like my dad, or I've got to do this because my mom told me this,
Right.
And I was one of those people. And so, it allows people to really manifest what they're supposed to do here. And they can manifest it from a pure place rather than from I don't know, feeling like they have to, or feeling like, it's a duty or a chore. It has a whole different energy behind it. Yeah.
Wow. I have a little bit of insight to ask you this, right? Okay. But I am genuinely curious. Okay. You haven't mentioned it yet, but what is mirroring?
Oh, mirroring. That's my favorite topic. It's the topic that I spend just weeks talking about. And it's the topic that all of my students hate the most. Because
sounds like work.
Yeah, it's, well, let me explain the basic concept of it. And I'm going to give you a funny analogy that really seems to bring it home. Mirroring, if you can imagine a seesaw and you push down one side of the seesaw, the other side goes up. Mm-hmm. That's how energy works. If you try to push down something inside of you, whether it be a fear, denial, emotion, whatever it is, it has to come up somewhere in your universe. So if I'm pushing down my anger, I come home and my husband is pissed off, and then I get, well, why are you always so pissed off? He's showing me a mirror of something that I have suppressed. And we're really good at that. We do that all the time in our life. So somebody pushes our button, somebody triggers us. They're showing us a mirror of something that we're in denial of about ourselves. And when you get in touch with that and you resolve it and clean it up, it's like everything changes. Like, for example, I'll just give a true to life example. This is a true to life example. When my husband and I got married, he was this really sweet, wonderful, generous, caring human being. And then all of a sudden, he was just pissed off all the time. I mean, punching holes in the wall and stuff. He was that pissed off.
Wow.
And I would, be the spiritual teacher that I am. I would, talk to him about it. It's like, why are you so pissed off? Things like that. Nothing would resolve it until finally I said, he must be a mirror of something I'm in denial of about myself. So I started working on my own suppressed anger, which had been suppressed since I was a little girl. I got a lot of messages that anger was not okay. And I started to resolve that. And I started to figure out where it came from. And I started allowing it to come up in a safe way. And guess what? He stopped being angry. It just stopped in him because he didn't have to be the other side of my seesaw. And it works like that. It's miraculous. It really is. It never ceases to amaze me, but that's how it works on an energetic level. But the problem with it is it's very hard to look in the mirror.
Oh, yes.
It's hard to look at that face and go, oh, you mean I'm the angry one? So, yeah, it's tough. That's the challenge of it. But once you do, it's definitely worth it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's interesting in a lot of ways. First of all, thank you for sharing your true to life example. That's not very easy to do, even as a teacher or, coach, or however, those of us in leadership, it's not always easy to, reveal, right? We're just like, just trust me, it works. Well, why? We went through it. But I'm listening to you and I'm thinking about maybe some mirrors that apply in my own life or the lives of our listeners. And, obviously here, this is Crown Level Confidence, right? So I always tie it back to that. But it just kind of makes me think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not the expert in this, but mirroring, as you've just explained it, kind of reminds me of when you get a group of girls together and there's always that one who is like, oh, but these pants don't look good on me, right? Or, they are, or the opposite. Maybe they're the mean girl, saying, oh, that dress doesn't look good on you, or your hair is weird, because there's something inside of them, right? That they're insecure about, or, they're working through their own struggles with confidence. And so they're, the one in the group that is making other people question theirs, or they're going out of the way. We used to call it fishing. They were fishing for compliments because they weren't feeling, strong about their appearance or whatever, what have you. So if I'm totally off base, Royce, reel me in, but it just sounds like some different themes and different things I have encountered, from teenage years all the way really up to present day with some of the women that I encounter just on a day-to-day basis. And knowing what you teach about mirroring, maybe that's something I could put in my back pocket. One, to practice myself, but also like, hey, have you thought about why you always need a compliment?
I warn people about not doing that. And here's what I tell people. When you're pointing your finger at somebody, there's 3 fingers pointing back. And because it's far too easy to look at somebody and go, oh, they must have an issue about this. Okay. But if you're even noticing it and it's bothering you or affecting you in some way, there's something that you need to look at about yourself that they're mirroring.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, don't be. That's why, listen, this is a candid conversation, Roy. Like I said, you're the expert, not me. So I'm thinking, I'm like, I'm highly sensitive to the confidence levels of people around me. Yeah. And I'm very transparent because it's something I'm transparent about why I'm sensitive to it, because I do feel as though I was born with a higher level of confidence than most people. And I'm sensitive about it, right? So when I hear someone talk and they say anything that's slightly self-deprecating, I'm like, wait, hold on. And it's almost like annoying to the people around me. They're like, Clea, just let me be. And I'm like, but no. And but yeah, and I love that illustration, right? When you point the finger, there's always 3 pointing back at you. I learned that in college in some team building. But yeah, I'm highly sensitive as to what people go through, and especially because in my personal life, I have overcome a lot of adversity, not in the maybe some typical ways that some people might imagine, but I've been in several situations to where I'm always that iceberg or the swan or whatever you want to say, that on the top, it's got it all together. You would never question anything, but underneath it's like the wheels are working, we're pedaling as fast as we can, or the glacier that's so deep that you didn't even realize was so much beyond underneath the surface. And so because I know that about myself and how I can be, I'm always, like I said, sensitive to those around me, where it's like, okay, I heard what you said, but what is it that you didn't say?
Right. Yeah.
And I do a lot of introspective work. Sometimes I'm too inside, or it's like, okay, I got to come back out and make sure everyone else is good, Right. That's the only child in me.
Yeah. But I think there's a real difference, just to kind of answer your question. There's a difference between being sensitive to people versus having the annoyance from what they're doing, or the button pushed, or the trigger, or why can't you just see how great you are, that kind of thing, versus, oh yeah, I'm just noticing that person is having some confidence issues. That's real different than the standard mirroring that I'm referring to. It all goes down to, if a button is pushed, there's a mirror there always.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I need to make an appointment. So, right, okay, we've talked about, your work, and this is at a surface level, y'all. 4 decades of teaching, we could not unpack all of this in one Crown Level Confidence episode. So let's be clear, okay? We're trying to make this digestible for this fun yet impactful podcast. But Royce, tell us, like I said, as bite-sized, pun intended, if you can, what's the best way for people to get into mirroring or any of the other techniques that you have?
Well, I teach, I have all kinds of classes that talk about it. Like I said, every class on some degree talks about mirroring, because it is very deep. It's our core. It really is. And it takes a while for people to accept the concept, and it takes a while for people to say, okay, yeah, I'm willing.
Right.
So that's always the challenge. I mean, I've had students that come back to my program for years or decades, and they still don't get the concept. It's still something that's challenging. So I really emphasize it a lot. But I think the best thing to do, and just kind of a bite-sized morsel, as you said, is to notice when a button gets pushed, which is another word for triggering. So notice when you get triggered and just stop for a minute and go, okay, what is this person showing me about myself? What is it that I'm not seeing about myself? So if you're noticing somebody and you're thinking, oh God, they're really overweight. Wow, why are and you have this judgmentalness going on about them, and you find yourself thinking, how can anybody do that to themselves? Having all those negative thoughts about them. Turn it around really quickly. And how does that apply to me? Do I believe that I'm overweight, or do I have some addictiveness that I'm not willing to look at? Or why am I judging that woman? Who does she remind me of? So there's all kinds,
Mm.
there's all kinds of ways to really start approaching that. And I have lists of ways to help people to see mirrors. But it
Yeah.
always goes down to, if there's a button and a trigger, there's a mirror, always.
Wow. That
Yeah.
sounds like a high level of accountability, really.
Yes. It really is, because you can't blame anybody anymore. You just have to go, oh yeah, I'm responsible for that person in my life to show me this mirror. They've arrived just to show me this mirror. And I talk a lot about that too, that nothing is accidental, nothing's a coincidence.
Hmm.
If we need to learn something about ourselves, we will attract or perceive or seek out somebody that's going to teach us that lesson about ourselves. So there we go. There it is.
Okay. Well, I mean, clearly you're a bona fide expert, and you have teachings, you have talks, you have classes, you have different ways, but you're also a published author, right? You have books about your teaching. Can you talk a little bit more about your books?
I've written 3 books, and they're all about my teachings in various ways. The first one it talks about soulmate love. What is that really? Because we have a lot of misconceptions about what soulmate love is. We think it's walking arm in arm off into the sunset together, and it's far from that usually. Usually they're the biggest mirror for us, actually.
Mm.
And they have chosen to have this kind of intense relationship with us to be our best teacher. Not always, but usually. The other book talks about my classes, my teachings. It has a lot of examples and stories and ways to apply it. Each chapter has some kind of an experiential exercise that you can do. It's really interesting. Now, I guess I should give the title of the book, shouldn't I? It's called Know, K-N-O-W, A Spiritual Wake-Up Call. That's that one. And the other one is called Want, True Love, Past Lives, and Other Complications.
Mm.
And the third book that I wrote is called Back, Rebirth After Stroke, because my husband suffered a massive stroke about 10 years ago. And I started posting little things on Facebook and social media about what I was going through as a spiritual teacher. So I would talk about stuff that I would learn from this experience on a spiritual level. And people said, oh, you've got to put that together in a book. So I did. And it's really about, for anybody that's going through something really challenging, something that they've never experienced before. It offers a lot of hope and a lot of different ways of looking at things that you're going through, again, as mirrors. So those are my 3 books. And I'm actually working on a 4th book right now. So tune in and it will be done, hopefully.
Wow, that's amazing. Just all that you've been able to contribute to this world of knowledge and self-empowerment. I was going to say women empowerment, but self-empowerment, because I'm sure there are a lot of men who can benefit from this work as well and what you're doing. So, Royce, true to form, the time has just, I don't know where it went, but it's gone. Okay. Share with us the final word. So our veteran listeners, they know the final word means we're wrapping it up, and our new listeners are like, the final word, what is that? Well, we're wrapping it up. Like I just said, our listeners are getting out of their cars, their lunch break is almost over, they got to get the babies, whatever it is, they know, okay, they're listening intently to know what this final word is that you want to share. So hit us with it, Royce. What's your final word today?
well, I guess it would have to be about mirrors. If a button is pushed, there's a mirror there, and you deserve to resolve those mirrors by looking at them and finding out really where they came from, the origins, so that you can live life without attracting those mirrors. You can even out the seesaw and stop having people, flying up and being in the other side of your seesaw to wake you up, because you deserve to be awakened and conscious and all that you're here to do authentically. So there you go.
Wow. All right, y'all. She said it. Be on the lookout for those mirrors. Okay. And you need to evaluate what does that look like in you and for you. So y'all, if we were in a studio, I'd say give it up for Royce, and there would be applause and cheering, and I'm sure some boo-hooing because someone got an awakening. But I'm sure you want more of Royce, right? So here's her website, www.perfectlifeawakening.com. Don't worry. So if you missed it, just scroll down in the description and click the link. We have it all set up for you. She is on all the social media: Facebook, LinkedIn, X, formerly known as Twitter. Very straightforward, Perfect Life Awakening, or her name, Royce Morales. Again, don't worry, just scroll down and you will see the links there so you can like, share, and follow. Also, get in touch. Let her know you heard this episode. You have more questions. Don't play around in her inbox. She does not have room for spam. Okay. You're either going to say something positive or ask a legitimate question about what she does and how she can serve you. So Royce, thank you so much again for spending your very valuable time with us and building up the Crown Level Confidence community. It has been a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you so much. And you keep up the good work over there.
Thank you. So y'all stay tuned. Okay, stay tuned. This episode is over. But as usual, y'all, I love you and I'm grateful that you love me too. All right. See you next time. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Crown Level Confidence Podcast. I hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that will help you on your path to unstoppable confidence. Remember, you have the power within you to achieve greatness and transform your life. Stay connected by subscribing to the podcast and following us on social media. If you're interested in being a featured guest on the show and sharing your journey of confidence and self-belief, visit KaliaJanae.com to connect with me. I'd love to hear your thoughts and stories, and I'm always excited to meet and showcase remarkable individuals, so don't hesitate to reach out. For details on speaking engagements, mindset coaching, or having a workshop in your office, again, head over to my website, KaliaJanae.com. And don't forget to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and inspire others to wear their crowns proudly. All right, y'all, keep shining, keep believing, and keep leveling up. Until next time, wear your crown with pride and confidence. Take care.